fuck? What the f- What the fuck? Is this on? What the fuck? What the fuck? Is this on? Oh god, it is on. That's not my microphone. Oh Christ. Oh, Jiminy Crickets. Hello? Is this on? Let me watch this. Maxie, get up here. Maxie, get the hell up here. Come on. Is this on? I'm trying to watch my own stream. Here. Come on. Hello? Is this on? Okay. I think it's on. Yo, I am fudged. Welcome to the show. It's the Above It All show. Today is the Above It All programmatic based news show program. And is this on? It's the Above It All news program show today, folks. Please bear with me. I consumed a large amount of drugs yesterday, and I am still recovering. So, just bear the fuck with me. Just bear with me. That means I will be able to take 3 hard cocks while high on meth at a bathhouse. Yo, that's awesome. Keep me posted on that one. But I'm a little fucked right now, so please bear with me. Low volume? The volume is low? What does that mean, low volume? What does that mean? What does that mean, low volume? My volume's low? I got low volume? It's affecting 1 in 10 Americans today. Low volume! I don't know why I decided to scream that, but doing this show today, my output volume is low. I think you're wrong. I think you're incorrect. To be honest, I think you're incorrect. So, anyway, today is April still. Fuck, for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. It's goddamn April. Everybody, it's Tyler in the chat's birthday. So, congratulations, Tyler. Yo, I did so many things yesterday, including, but not limited to, passing out. I woke up in the middle of the night, and, needless to say, I am tired, and, I hope this show, it's not going to be too long, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to be here too long, but, I hope that I can provide to you some entertainment, in your morning. A little bit. Speaking of entertaining, there's a mass shooter in Texas who is currently, no one knows where this guy is, but other than he was in Texas at a certain point in time, Texas mass shooting suspect could be anywhere, sheriff says. So, some good news. Could be anywhere, including but not limited to Texas. The search for a Texas man who allegedly shot his neighbors after they asked him to stop firing off rounds in his yard stretched into a second day, Sunday, with authorities saying the man could be anywhere by now. Francisco Oropesa, 38, fled after the shooting Friday night that left 5 people dead, including an 8-year-old boy. San Jacinto County Sheriff Greg Capers said Saturday evening that authorities had widened the search as far as 20 miles from the scene of the shooting. Yo. Okay, so this motherfucker shot people the night before Saturday. What the fuck does that mean? The night before Saturday? So Friday? Friday night? What the fuck? So this guy shoots people, including a child, Friday night. 24 hours later, the sheriff's like, well, we'll widen it to 20 miles. Now, again, we all know cops are fucking stupid. Now, here's a question for all the aspiring mass shooters out there, which I know there are plenty in the U.S. If you shoot people, including a child, do you think you'll be 20 miles within the shooting location within 24 hours? 24 hours. Yo, I could walk 20 miles away in 24 hours. So again, just throw all the people out there that say, what are you going to do when there's a mass shooting? And the cops, because they've been defunded in the magical world, aren't there. Well, I'm going to do the same thing I would do normally, and that is nothing, because the cops are, like, again, 24 hours after the shooting, they're like, well, look, maybe 20 miles. Again, I can't fucking believe it. But also, this guy is just, like, shooting guns randomly, and then, like, the kid next door is like, can you stop shooting guns, please? Like, I'm trying to get some goddamn sleep. And then the guy's like, in fact, no, I will not stop shooting guns. In fact, I'm going to murder you and your whole family. Like, that's fucking strange as well. But, I mean, it is America, so it's not that strange. Police recovered the AR-15 style rifle that Oropesa allegedly used in the shooting, but authorities were not sure if he was carrying another weapon. He could be anywhere by now. Whoa, wow. I mean, wow. Probably. Maybe you should have looked, I don't know, the night of. Or maybe you should have widened the search. Caper said the victims were between the ages of 8 and 31. All were shot from the neck up. It's fucked up. The act was the latest act of gun violence, blah, blah, blah. Mass killings have been played out in a variety of places in Nashville School, Kentucky Bank, Southern. Yeah, anyway, this is just giving us some more details that we don't need. But again, just in case you thought the cops were useful, 24 hours after the shooting, they're only looking in a 20-mile radius. By the way, the search as far as 20 miles? What does that mean? That means, like, fucking Private Bobby shit fuck up his ass, like, accidentally drove in the wrong direction, and then, like, the captain was like, yo, Bobby, where are you? And he was like, oh, I'm on fuck shit ass street. And then the captain or sheriff or whatever was like, oh, fuck, you gotta be in here. And then later on, they're like, well, fuck shit ass street was about 20.64 miles out. And really, we've just been looking in a 2-mile radius. But Bobby over there went over to a 20-mile detour. So again, I just need people. Now, obviously, this is all speculation. But what does as far as 20 miles? Again, motherfucker, I could walk 20 miles in 24 hours. 24 hours in a country with cars. With cars! There's fucking cars, dude! And you're gonna do a 20-mile search for some guy that killed a whole family a fucking 24 hours ago. I can't, dude. Again, cops are just like the most incompetent ass motherfucking fuckers in the history of fucking ass fuckers. Like, again, man, Jesus Christ. Also, by the way, who executes, by the way, an entire fucking family, shooting them in the head in, like, the front lawn or some shit? Like, my goodness gracious. But again, it's America. And there you go. So that's what we do in America. We kill kids, and then we pretend to look for the killers, except we know that we're not. Like, I can't with that 20-mile shit, man. I can't. with that fucking 20 miles shit, man. It's too much for me. Like, again, these guys are telling us that we need money. Don't defund us. By the way, we're not going to even get in the Jeep. Like, I'm serious. How can you even do a search in such a small window? Like, where are you searching? You know, but whatever. I mean, I'm getting far off into the weeds there. But there you go. All right. Doing a show today. Everybody, it is the 78th anniversary of Adolf Hitler killing himself. So everyone give a warm welcome to that. Yeah! Adolf Hitler killed himself 78 years ago. So, to all the aspiring fascists out there, I suggest following your leader and have a good day. So, this is a news show. We're doing news here. I got this, this is some fucked up ass stuff here, though, that I've got here. And I certifiably, put it in the category of fucked up ass. You know, you might be wondering, what is fucked up ass? You know, and what, and where, and how is that compared to regular ass? Or, you know, there's a huge, spectrum on the ass spectrum, and, you can place any amount of points on the ass spectrum, but this is clearly in the fucked up ass territory of the spectrum. Let's move into it. The WHO is, well, I gotta be careful with how I describe this, but they're starting their hashtag Never Forget campaign. And when I say that, I mean, forget as soon as possible everything that they've done and that the CDC has done in the US and that these major countries have done in regards to the coronavirus pandemic. They've given up, everybody. I mean, this has been obvious years ago, but they gave up. The WHO, they gave up, right? That is the World Health Organization, folks, by the way. So the World Health Organization decided, pandemic, whatever. We're getting paid to do nothing about it, so let's just keep going, business as usual. Well, they've got a report out. This is in UN News. WHO launches new pandemic prevention plan as COVID deaths fall 95%. Now, again, the headline here, interesting. Let's check out some details. The guidance provides a joined-up approach for responding to the threat or arrival of any respiratory pathogens such as flu or the range of coronaviruses that have the ability to rapidly mutate into different variants. The new Preparedness and Resilience for Emerging Threats Initiative, or PRET, incorporates the latest tools and approaches for shared learning and collective action established during the COVID-19 pandemic. So what does that mean? Sincerely, because, now, again, in the US, we did nothing at all, but globally speaking, most countries did nothing at all either. So, what is it? Incorporates the latest tools and approaches for shared learning and collective action established during the COVID-19 pandemic. What shared learning and what collective action? Sincerely, I'm just asking questions here. Again, the United States is a country. Now, I know this is the WHO, but just, again, the U.S. is a powerful hegemonic force. And so when the U.S. operates in a pretend the pandemic never happened, that's going to leak out and the WHO will get affected. So again, in the U.S., 84% of Americans refused a free, safe, effective vaccine against the strains of coronavirus that are actively going on. Imagine you talk to someone and you say, hey, have you gotten your flu vaccine? And they say, oh, no, I got a flu vaccine 7 years ago. I'm safe. You know what you'd think? Oh, that guy's a fucking moron. That guy's a dumbass, motherfucking piece of shit, dumbass, cocksucker, okay? That's what you'd think. So when people come over to me and say, well, actually, the original round of vaccines had 80% people got the first dose. By the way, the original round of vaccines was a 2-dose vaccine. Getting the first dose Is it better than nothing? Yes, but only 60% of Americans got the second dose. And when was that? Does anyone remember? That was 2 years ago. So imagine somebody saying, oh, did you get your flu shot? Oh, no, I got my flu shot 2 years ago. I'm good. Now imagine someone saying, I got half of my flu shot 2 years ago. I'm good. So the latest COVID vaccine, the bivalent booster shot, 84% of Americans looked at it and said, no, I'm scared. Because of right-wing propaganda. Right-wing propaganda coming from Joe Biden, telling people the pandemic's over. Right-wing propaganda coming from the CDC, telling people masking is not required. Right-wing propaganda coming from the WHO in the form of this kind of shit, gaslighting us into all believing that there was collective action. We did do something, and it's just that nothing happened as a result. So I don't even know, like, they want us to believe in a universe where the whole world got its shit together and, like, ended COVID or whatever, while also believing in a universe where COVID is still raging on. Now, again, I'm going to get more into the details here on this WHO bull, this press release, because there's some really fucked up shit here. But again, I just want to be very clear that we live in the Twilight Zone era of politics. 84% of Americans are anti-vaxxers. How do you have any semblance of public health messaging in a country where 84% of the country looked at a free, flu vaccines aren't even free, right? Free, safe, effective healthcare. 84% of the country said no. They said no. They said no. Why? Because they're fucking stupid. They're fucking stupid. I need you to understand this, okay? And I'm going out here ranting and raving again like a lunatic, but it's been a while since I've done a COVID segment. Americans are I'm not talking about politicians right now. We'll get to them in a fucking second. Americans are the most selfish, narcissistic, lazy, uneducated, dumb fuck, motherfucking fucked up freaks in the history of the world. Okay? Again, apex ratio. Can you really blame people 100 years ago for not knowing much about pandemic prevention during the Kansas flu pandemic of 1918? Can you really blame people 100 years ago for not being able to track a virus across the globe? We didn't have the internet. Can you really blame them? Now you can say they should have known better, probably, but ultimately, can you really fucking blame them? Everyone has a fucking cell phone. Does anyone remember these COVID tracker apps? And how no one fucking used them? Everyone has a cell phone that they bring around them at all times. And yet we still can't track who has the virus and where spread is. Oh, I get it. Privacy. I understand. Hey, I use Signal. I have fucking proxies. I use VPNs. I love privacy, okay? So I understand. But I'm just saying here, think about it in the sense of, like, just humanity. We all can't just get our shit together and track the virus. Now, again, can you really blame people during the bubonic plague for not knowing about airborne pathogens? Can you really fucking blame people in ancient Egypt for not knowing about disease as well as we do now? No, you can't. Now, again, could they have put more resources into researching it at the time contemporaneously? Absolutely. That's not a conversation we're having. The point is, we have reached the apex ratio of availability and accessibility. Okay, let's ignore the tracking apps. You can look up information about COVID at any point. At any point. Any point. Literally. You could right now. When's the last time you looked up COVID news? Just be honest. I know my audience is, on average, more interested in this subject. When's the last time you looked up COVID? I'm just asking. Okay. So, availability, and the other axis of this ratio that I'm describing is what the average American knows about the world. Is at an all-time low in comparison to the accessibility and availability of knowledge, which is at an all-time high. previously, you would need to go to a library, hope they have a book in stock. Maybe they would have one. If you're lucky, they'd have 2 copies, and it would be beaten to shit. There'd be dicks and pussies drawn all in that shit, right? And that was how you got your information. Now, you have the internet. Literally, at any fucking point in time, you can look this shit up. 84% of Americans said, I'm afraid of the vaccine. 84%. In a world where 100% of that demographic has a phone where they can look up what the fucking vaccine side effects are, and they can look up the efficacy and safety of them, 84% of Americans said, you know what? I'm too stupid, lazy, and dumb to do a simple fucking Google search. I'm afraid of the vaccine because I'm a fucking moron. You know, again, this is the thing. I don't want to make this about Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan is an excellent example of the average stupid fuck. Does anyone remember when Joe Rogan was going on his podcast peddling vaccine misinformation? I need you to understand is that kind of shit, I'm not saying everyone got brainwashed by Joe Rogan, but what I'm saying is Joe Rogan is indicative of the brainwashing that all Americans went through. The average American really actually thinks that there is a link between, like, having sudden cardiac arrest or a heart palpitation to the vaccine. That is, like, uniquely with the COVID vaccines. As if all kinds of vaccines, as if we never knew that vaccines had side effects, ever. I mean, like, people have been getting flu vaccines for years, and people have gotten the flu vaccine, they feel a little shitty, and then they feel better. The shingles vaccine, people have been getting the shingles vaccine for years, they feel a little shitty, then they feel better. That's literally how vaccines work. 84% of Americans, too dumb to live, literally. So again, with all that in mind, it needs to be understood that the people in this country are fucking stupid, irredeemable, deplorable pieces of human garbage. That's the average American. 84% minimum. And now again, minimum. I need you to understand that is the bar. That is the absolute minimum. I am not willing to even entertain or tolerate a conversation where we pretend that somehow people were afraid of the vaccine, but they're really good people. They're really smart people. It's just on this one they managed to fuck up. Now, I'm down to have an in-depth conversation. You got a family member. You don't want to, disconnect from your entire family. That's a whole different story. But we need to understand that when we live in a country where 84% is the minimum threshold for stupid, dumb fucks that are dumber than, like, a fucking pet, like a goldfish. A goldfish is more intelligent than 84% of the country. That country is over. It's in ruins. So let's look at the politicians. Joe Biden went up there 28 times since he came into office saying the pandemic is over. Remember he said that on the State of the Union? No, not the State of the Union 2023. I'm talking about the State of the Union 2022. He declared victory. He declared victory in 2021 on Independence Day. He declared victory on Thanksgiving in 2021. He declared victory in Thanksgiving 2022. He declared victory on Christmas 2022. How many times has Joe Biden declared victory from the pandemic? So again, we have politicians lying to people, but also, I don't give a fuck. I know a lot of people say, can you really blame them? The government dropped the ball. Yes, they did. I'm sorry. In a fucking world where everybody has a fucking cell phone, if you fall for government propaganda that easily, I'm sorry, you're fucking stupid. You're a fucking irredeemable dumb fuck, and you certainly shouldn't be having kids. You're telling me 84% of Americans are too fucking dumb to question the government? You're telling me the same country where Congress has a 16% approval rating. Why does Congress have a 16% approval rating? Because the average American is like, yo, Congress kind of corrupt. But also, the average American is like, oh, on COVID, I believe everything they're saying. So they're the most corrupt organization. Only 16% approve of Congress. And yet, Don't question the government. Never question them. We know they're corrupt. We know they're lying, but we're not going to do any. And why is that? Because they're lazy. Americans are lazy. Okay, so the government lies to them, and they're too lazy and fucking stupid to do anything about it because they're helpless little permanent victims. That's what Americans are. They're addicted to their own trauma. They're addicted to their own victim mentality. And I'm not talking about this snowflake culture war bullshit, because Republicans are the most exemplary group when it comes to this kind of description. These people are addicted to feeling like they can't do anything. Oh, the government's lying to me. Fuck it. I'm afraid of vaccines now. Who cares? Now, I know this is a long segment, but I get out of control when I talk about COVID because I literally feel like the monsters are on Mulberry Street. So, let's look at this WHO statement. Hundreds of millions will need care. Now again, what is the headline of this? COVID deaths fall 95%. Now again, I know Americans and people in general, this is the WHO, are fucking stupid. But this binary, either you're dead or you're alive, I'm sorry, anybody, okay? Anybody who thinks that the only categories are death and life is fucking stupid. Fucking dumb. Oh, deaths fell 95%. Yeah. As hundreds of millions of people are getting permanently disabled in a mass disabling event. But don't worry, they're not dying. It's just that hundreds of millions will need healthcare for the rest of their lives. 20-year-olds are going to need to be in the healthcare system now on a weekly basis in some countries, some areas. For, we don't even know, could be the rest of their life. Could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. But don't worry, everybody! The deaths fell down 95%. You know what's interesting about that? The average American and human being now is so fucking stupid that they don't understand that deaths going down isn't necessarily a good thing. Now, what do I say when I mean that? What do I mean when I say that? I'm sorry. A virus killing people is not actually good for the virus. You ever go to school? You ever learn about evolution? Well, if you're American, you probably didn't learn about evolution in school. But a virus has one goal: to propagate itself. That's the goal. When you go into a body and kill that person, you are reducing the ability for that person, the host, to spread your genetics. So, it is actually better for the virus for people to not die, but instead be disabled and alive for longer periods of time. But don't worry, everyone. Deaths fell 95%. Now, I want to read this statement from the WHO, because to me, this is proof of genocide. Now, I've said this before, the CDC, the American government especially, but also the WHO is guilty of genocide. This pandemic, the way that the institutions, if you will, in our world handled this pandemic is genocidal. It's fucking-sidal. Tell me, in what world is this not genocidal? They did nothing at all to stop a pandemic that has killed millions of people and will disable hundreds of millions, if not billions of people. So let's read this. Quote, "We are very encouraged by the sustained decline in reported deaths from COVID-19, which have dropped 95% since the beginning of this year." I already told you why that's bullshit. Now again, is it good in some sense that people are not dying? Absolutely. But that's a silver lining. That's not the overall picture. That's like the cope you tell yourself to make you feel better about an impending disaster. Okay? That's like you get into a car crash and you wake up from a coma. You're just happy to be alive, but now you have to learn how to live without legs for the next 30 years of your life. Now again, is it that serious? We don't actually know yet. But the point is, this idea, this fake fucking binary between life and death, as if quality of life is not even relevant. They don't care about the quality of your life. They don't care if you can't taste food anymore. They don't care if you have brain fog forever. They don't care if you develop dementia at the age of 27, which has happened in someone who had COVID. They don't give a fuck. They're just going to say, well, you're alive. Shouldn't you be grateful to God? Shouldn't you praise Jesus that you're even alive? Yeah! However, some countries are seeing increases. Tedros cautioned, this is the guy speaking, at the WHO, over the past 4 weeks, 14,000 people lost their lives to COVID. Now, again, I just want to say this. There is not, you would have to be the dumbest motherfucker on planet Earth to believe this 14,000 figure. First of all, 14,000, not 14,619, not like, just exactly 14,000 people died. Second of all, they don't count this shit anymore in half the countries in the world. They certainly don't count COVID deaths in the US anymore. In states like Florida, some of the most populous states, stopped counting COVID deaths. How the fuck could they possibly say with any form of certainty any number at all? They know it's bullshit, but they're saying it anyway because they're trying to lull you into a false sense of security so they can fuck you in the face later, and you won't even know that they are the ones who fucked you in the face. He said an estimated 1 in 10 infections now results in what is commonly known as long COVID, suggesting that hundreds of millions of people will need longer-term care. I'm going to get back to that in a moment. As the emergence of the new XBB 1.16 variant shows, the virus is still changing and is still capable of causing new waves of disease and death. The virus is here to stay. We remain hopeful that sometime this year we'll be able to declare an end to COVID-19 as a public health emergency of international concern, but this virus is here to stay, and all the countries will need to learn to manage it alongside other infectious diseases. Now again, there's two ways you can go about this. The virus is here to stay, so let's deal with it. The virus is here to stay, so let's do nothing. But let's circle back to 1 in 10 infections. Did you know that of the population of Americans under the age of 18, 98%, it's probably higher now, I haven't looked at this in a couple of weeks, 98% of kids, people under the age of 18 in this country, have been infected at least one time. They go to school every day. So they're in this situation where they're in the most petri dish of petri dishes as far as American society is concerned. I live in America, so I'm talking about this in an America-centric way. Not that I want to discredit or discount any other countries. It's just I'm in America. My audience is mostly American. So again, kids under 18s, 98% of them have gotten COVID at least once. We stopped counting after one time, I guess. The CDC's like, oh, you got COVID the 19th time? Well, who cares? You got it at least once. So we're sending people to school where they're getting COVID probably several times a year. Let's be honest. Several times a year. And we know every infection has a 10% chance of disabling you for potentially years or not, or life. We don't even know if it's life yet. There are some people that got COVID in 2020 when the pandemic started, and they have still not recovered. Now, there are some people that did get COVID in 2020 and have recovered, to a relative sense of normalcy. So we don't know. But that's the thing. We don't know. How can we do anything logically if we don't know what we're dealing with? Like, I need you all to understand this. That this is a Twilight Zone type situation, right? I need you to understand when you hear people online or in your life, in your family, at work, at school, talk about COVID in the past tense, they are NPCs. They are zombies. They cannot be trusted. They cannot be relied upon in any significant sense. I need you, okay, to really fully grasp that these are zombies. 84% of Americans, minimum, are zombies. They do not think about the world they are living in at all. At all. 0 fucking %. They only care about their own shit. They only care about their drama. They only care about their paycheck. They only care about their family, and not even in an actual sense, right? That's the really sick part of it, because if people actually did give a shit about their own shit in any real way, we wouldn't be dealing with this, because people would be like me and go, oh, I don't want to get dementia when I'm 29 years old, so I'm probably not going to get this virus, and I'm going to do what I can to ignore it. But again, they're dumb. They're too dumb to actually do any form of prophylactic measure against anything at all because they're fucking dumb. And that is ultimately what you need to understand, because Americans fundamentally are an irrational group of zombies. You can call them toddlers, but the average toddler has more capacity for rational behavior than an American zombie. They're zombies. And I need you to understand, this is everywhere. Okay? This is a situation. Left-wing movement? What left-wing movement? You're telling me the same political faction in the U.S. that advocated for Medicare for all just ignored the free vaccine? Now, I used to believe, when I was working with the Bernie Sanders campaign, knocking doors, all that stuff, I used to actually believe that Americans wanted a universal healthcare system. I no longer believe that. They may say they do on a poll, but they're too fucking dumb to actually know what they're advocating for. Okay? We had a universal healthcare system in a limited trial run with the COVID-19 vaccines. 84% of Americans have refused. So you're telling me I'm supposed to believe 70% of Americans want a universal healthcare system when only 16% managed to bother to show up at the only trial run that we've had in my lifetime? Really? You want me to believe that they're... Now, again, it's a Twilight Zone scenario. It's over. I need you to understand, we're not watching the Titanic sink in an effort to fix it. Okay? It's already over. We're rearranging the deck chairs on the sinking ship. It's already over. Now, I don't want to say that in the sense to make you feel depressed. And I know it's hard not to when you live in a country where everyone is fucking stupid. I understand. But I want to say this in a liberatory sense. Okay? Fuck them. Fuck them. Why should you be concerned with these fucking people? They're not concerned with you. You think the average American zombie gives a fuck about you? They don't. They might say they might theoretically on a poll. They might agree with you in some political areas, but do you think the average American will do anything at all for you when you actually need it? No, they won't. Absolutely. No, they won't. I need you really all to fully understand, okay, is that it's over. The left-wing movement, if there was one, is gone, burned alive, right? And you can even argue, now that we have seen how this whole thing has played out, we can argue that there was no left-wing movement. It was a cardboard cutout. I need you really to all fully understand this, and you can disagree. You know, that's fine. Feel free to disagree. But we are fucked. I need you. I really, and I am 26 years old. I'm going to be 27 in a month now, by the way. So, if anyone wants to give me a birthday present, May 31st. But now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do any political organizing. I'm not trying to tell you to completely check out of the system. That's not what I'm advocating for. But I need you to know that you need to take care of your own shit, because no one else is going to help you. Voting for left-wing politicians, not going to do anything. AOC is not going to give us universal health care. She doesn't have the power, right? No one is going to help you. Your family's not going to help you. Your politicians aren't going to help you. Your boss isn't going to help you. Your school's not going to help you. Your work is not going to help you. No one is going to help you. The only person, if you are feeling depressed, if you feel like all hope is lost, that should be a liberatory feeling, because it means that you have all the control. Now, obviously, right, if you're poor, you don't have that much room to maneuver. Obviously, right? There's a lot of people that are going through some really fucked up shit. But I need people to really understand right? That the only person that can change your position in life outside of freak accidents, like you find a bag of money on the side of the street, or you win the lottery, or whatever, outside of very freak occurrences, the only person that could possibly ever, even remotely even think about possibly once in a million years giving a shit about you is yourself. That's it. You just got to focus on yourself. That's it. Because the world around you is crumbling, and you can either watch the show and feel sad that the world around you is crumbling, or you can watch the show for entertainment and find your own meaning and do your own thing. Again, I don't even know what to say with this kind of shit. I haven't gotten COVID yet. It's possible I've had an asymptomatic case. It's really hard to tell. But do I just have to live with the idea that at any point I could get sick and never taste food again? Do I just have to live with the idea? I think, you know what? Fuck it. I never liked going outside that much anyway. I never liked people that much anyway. I'm pretty antisocial, so I say this. Let the world burn, and I'll watch it. But again, like, I don't want to make anyone feel depressed. Because I personally view this in a liberatory lens. Is you can be nihilistic about the outcome of the world. That doesn't mean you should just let yourself wither away. God's not real. There is no heaven. Jesus is made up. About at least 80% of Americans, they genuinely believe that there's an afterlife. Can you really blame them for not giving a fuck about their current life? Okay? Can you really blame people who genuinely believe, they genuinely actually believe that when you die, you wake up in heaven or hell or some fucking whatever? They actually believe that. Can you think about it for a moment? They actually, and they develop coping mechanisms such as, God makes us suffer in this life so that we can learn a lesson for the next life. You ever hear this shit? God's plan. 80% of Americans believe in this. Can you really be surprised that they don't give a fuck about the world? They don't give a fuck about themselves? They don't give a fuck about you? When they think, don't worry, I'm going to get a do-over anyway? I mean, again, it's over. How can we have a species that is willing to take the next step as a society, as a civilization, as a culture, if we still believe that we get a do-over? Like, they believe it. 80% of people, they believe it. They believe that when you die, you wake up somewhere else, and it's just like part 2 of life or some shit, like that time skip in fucking Naruto. They literally believe that. Like, is any of this a surprise? When the people running the show believe that no matter all of their mistakes, they just say, I'm sorry, Jesus, and they get into the pearly gates? Can you really? Like, I'm sorry, man, but I don't believe that these people are going to fucking help us out. Anyway, so there's your COVID segment. Kind of went off track a little bit, but I'm kind of high, so, you know, bear with me. This is my goddamn, what is this? I'm preaching to the choir. There you go. I don't know. I got some new viewers, though, right? Because the leftist mafia, right? So maybe new viewers are going to be like, oh, fuck, this bitch is crazy, you know? We'll see. We'll see if that happens. That's one of my favorite things. When I get exposure somewhere, I go on a show, whatever it is, and then people's like, they come back to my show, and then they go, whoa! That's one of my favorites. But as far as the chat is concerned, I've been ignoring it, but I was looking at it here. I agree with the statement that leftists don't care about COVID because they're stupid and they're not leftist. I mean, you see DSA chapters all across the country basically banning disabled people because they don't feel like masking. There's like these big debates on social media of people saying, well, people don't like masks and we gotta socially organize for socialism. So it's actually better to ban disabled people from attending DSA organizations because we'll get more regular people, convert them to socialism, and then the disabled people will be happy. You know, so again, I've given up with leftism. You know, I'm a leftist. My politics are left-wing. I consider myself to be the furthest left-wing you theoretically could be. I consider myself to be pinned at whatever the most left thing is possible. If someone tries to out-left me, well, I'm willing to listen to them and maybe I'll reassess myself, right? But I think a lot of people, when it comes to politics, okay, politics is a branding exercise. I talked about this before in advertising. It's advertising. You know, you've heard the phrase virtue signaling, I'm sure. That's all of politics. That's 99%. Like, when you think of politics, right? Think about, what does the average person think about politics? They think Republican, Democrat, fiscal policy, the budget. That's not politics. That's a fucking game. That's like Family fucking Feud. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's not fucking politics. Again, what do most people think of when they think of politics? They think of politicians. Why? Because they're fucking stupid. Now, to use a popular analogy here, they're trapped in the Matrix. If you think politics is what party affiliation you are registered under, you are a dumb motherfucker. If you think politics is who you voted for in the last election, you're a dumb motherfucker, and that's most people. So when most people think of politics as a game, as discourse, that's what politics is. It's nothing real. It's just words. I want universal health care. That's how you get shit where 70% of people say they want universal health care, and then only 16% of people actually go out of their way to do anything. When the universal health care does exist in a narrow sense, only 16% actually engage. But 70% will say they want it on a poll. Why? Because it's virtue signaling. These people literally don't give a fuck about anything other than their brand. And now again, this could be media figures, YouTubers. You see this a lot on YouTube. You see this a lot on TV. But it's also people on a personal level. Every time people discuss politics, it's nothing real. It's a brand. They want you to perceive them in a certain way. That's why they say certain things. That's what this whole virtue signaling culture war shit is. That's why you see right-wingers talk about woke Bud Light, woke Bud Light. They're signaling their virtues so that people know that they have the right politics, even though none of this is political. None of this is political at the same time that everything is political, right? But, this is why you see Democrats put a she/her pin on their fucking coat pocket as they argue with Republicans and compromise transgender rights away. That's what the Biden administration's been doing. They said, Republicans have a point about the trannies in sports, but I'm she/her. She/her, guys. She/her. LGBTQ plus people deserve rights. But on the sports issue, man, get them out of here. That's what the Biden administration's doing. Because they get value from pretending to be in favor of transgender people. They also get value from destroying transgender people's rights. And personally, they don't give a fuck either way. So I haven't been reading the chat, but I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what the fuck y'all motherfuckers are talking about, but there you go. But anyway. Yeah, I got no idea what the fuck you people are on. This is what happens when I go on like a 40-minute tirade and ignore the chat. When I'm done trying to get back in, and now I'm lost, It's people are speaking another language, But anyway, that's like the news portion of my show. If you have any questions, queries, comments, or concerns, let me know. Hit me up. Questions, comments, or concerns. What do you got? I hate sleeping. I love sleeping, personally. I look forward to it. Yo, Spit Dragon, I'm sorry. I can't figure out what it is that you're saying or what the start of what it is that you're... Because I've noticed that you have like a series of messages and I can't figure out where it started or how. But I do not understand at all what the conversation is or what the other side of it is. So it's all good with me. Hello, Vincent. You've become my favorite left-wing news YouTuber. Who was the previous favorite? If I'm allowed to ask. Like, who did I beat? I'm just curious. A heavy foot neighbor? Damn. See, I often wake up in the middle of the night, but it's very easy for me to fall back asleep, so I don't really have that problem. But you hope I'm a regular in the leftist mafia? You tell them that, Vincent. Because, I mean, me too, right? Obviously, I don't know about a regular, though. Like, showing up once a week, that would be hard. Like, maybe once every couple months, I'm fine with that, I'm not good with schedules. I can barely keep my own, but... Should I walk so you can go eat some fries? I didn't quite understand the question. Like, are you walking to get the fries? I don't... But yeah, you tell them that. You show up to every single Binder stream and every single Humanist Report stream and so on. And you tell them. Because I'm game, so... Your previous favorite was Humanist Report. Humanist Report's good. I have had the Humanist Report on my show before. So, if you haven't seen that, feel free to go search it. I personally, my opinion is I have had the privilege, if you will, of talking to a lot of these left-wing YouTubers personally. I think a lot of them are hiding their power level. Now, I think a lot of them are money-hungry clout chasers, right? Absolutely, like Young Turks. At least Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're both garbage, right? Politically useful to like anything I believe in whatsoever. I think they're both garbage. But I think a lot of people in left-wing media are hiding their power level. And what I mean by that is a lot of people are afraid to talk about certain topics that I think is weird. And now again, that's just my opinion, right? I don't have kids. I don't have a family that, like, you know? So, like, if I had a kid, you know, my calculation on me talking about, you know, getting fucked in the face and being on drugs, maybe I would talk about that less, right? If I had a family or whatever, right? But, you know, I think a lot of left-wing YouTubers are cooler than you might understand. And it's also like when you do reach it's like manufacturing, right? Manufacturing consent theory is that it's all subconscious. And I think a lot of people get to where they are and how popular, how many subscribers they have by tailoring their message in a certain way. You know what I mean? And that's fine and it works for people. That's not the game I'm in. Like, so I'm not in that game. I don't care about my follower count. I don't care about my subscribers. I don't care about the money I make. I could make $0 on the show and I would still do it. Now, again, I like the money. I like being able to buy my dog toys. I get my Max dog a new toy, you know, a couple times a month from, you know, and that's great. But like to me, I don't care about any of that. All I care about is one, documenting my beliefs. Two, finding like-minded people. More importantly, having them find me, because I'm not good at socializing. You know what I mean? I'm not good at going out there and meeting people. So it's better off if they come to me. And third of all, because I got nothing else to do. So, but oh. I got my blanket on me. I'm like chilling the fuck out. Y'all, I rearranged my room. I'm not sure if you noticed this. I'm a little closer to the background than I was previously. I rearranged my room. And yeah, yesterday I did a lot of drugs and I'm surprisingly still really fucked up. So love to hear your opinions. Well, thank you. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, Glam Girl Adel. It's funny you say that, because I had so much alcohol yesterday. Well, you know, it's not even anywhere in the top 100 in quantity. But, you know, it was a relatively hard sesh, if you will. I had no water, really. No hangover. Like, I mean, I'm as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a little bit tipsy at this point. But, man, oh, man, I had a lot of weed, too. That really, you know, it accentuates the whole thing. I passed the fuck out for a while. There's art back here. I am not very much of an artist. But the paintings on canvas, that one in particular, I found on the side of the road. So I collect art, and what I perceive to be art is not necessarily in line with what most people would say. But no, I'm not very much of an artist as far as drawing, if that's what we're talking about. I'd like to be, though. It's a skill that I haven't really spent time on. 60 Adderall in 2 days. Damn. Damn. Am I gonna display it? I mean, you can see some of it right here. But that's it. That's my show. I'm gonna go eat breakfast, y'all. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I'm sorry if I missed stuff. It happens. But tell your friends and all that bullshit. Do you have any friends? Get them in here. Get those friends of yours in here, you know? We need some fucking friends. We need some fucking friends in here. Alright. Bye-bye!